Yo, yo, yo. So today we're going to answer the question once and for all. Is Ninja Gaiden 4 Ninja Gear Gaiden Revengeance? That's what people seem to be saying. So what we're going to do, I have some clips up. Most are by Iconoclast, who is just a fucking incredible action player. Like, absolutely incredible. Probably the best NG2 and NG3 player I've seen. And then I have some footage up from JTB123 for Ninja Gaiden Black, and then this B-roll 1 hour gameplay footage. No, I didn't ask these guys. Hopefully they're cool with it. If you're not, let me know. I'll take it down. But you know, you guys are the best players, so I figured showcasing top gameplay is the best way to do this. And then also Iconoclast, Bayonetta, and Metal Gear Rising. So we're gonna take a look at NG4 and Bayo, NG4 and MGR, NG4 and NG2, and so on and so forth. And we're gonna compare and see what the fuck the game is most comparable to. Because I see a lot of people being like, "Hey, Ninja Gaiden 4 looks cool. What game should I play to, what game should I play to get into this series?" And people will be like, "Definitely don't play Ninja Gaiden. Play Bayonetta." Or Metal Gear Rising or Nier. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So let's see if these motherfuckers are right. So we're gonna start by just taking a look at some NG4 gameplay. We're gonna look at what Yakumo does. And I'm not even gonna put Ryu up. We're just gonna look at Yakumo. So no air combos are really being like extended super hard. They did that one clip, but that's not really like indicative of what gameplay actually looks like when you're going through it. He cut somebody in half, which is also very good. And I don't have YouTube Plus Premium, whatever the fuck, so we'll probably have to skip some cutscenes or ads, whatever the fuck we call it. So, you know, Yakumo's not able to stay in the air very long there. He can do like one little combo and then he basically has to break out of it. And these elite enemies can actually block you in the air and prevent you from juggling them. And we can see he has to like basically Blood Raven form is your way to get through the guard on enemies in this game. From the looks of it. And like regular enemies don't have the ability to like stop your juggles, but elite enemies seem to be able to stop your juggles in air. So like obviously like and the one thing that I think really does look very platinumy we're not even seeing here at all. It's specifically when you're in berserk mode and do like a Blood Raven skill, or if you're Ryu, whatever his berserk mode is called, with a UT where you get that like little kanji, like that is very platinum. But we see D limbs, we see OTs, we see like juggles that are like you do your Zuna drop and you're done, right? You do your combo and you're basically out of it. He's not really just like comboing in the air like you do in Bayonetta. There are perfect dodges, but they're not like something you chain together like in something like Bayonetta, right? You do your counter and you get out of it. The one other thing that people, I hope he does it here, this right here, perfect. I'm gonna pause the video. So I've heard people try to say that there's a directional input attack parry, and I think people are confusing this with the directional input attack parry for whatever reason. We're gonna put this on like 25% play speed, and we're gonna go back like 5 seconds. So we see here, he like this player is good, right? He clearly knows what's gonna happen. He anticipates this guy's attack. He Here, he anticipates the attack coming, and boom. I think we see the perfect block or a perfect dodge and a counter. I think it was a perfect dodge and a counter. That's just how like fast this game is. So there's no actual like Metal Gear Rising style or directional attack parry, and I've heard people say this too, that there's like a DMC5 or FF16 style parry where you basically like attack the enemy's attack and it like opens them up. I haven't seen that at all. So now let's compare this to, we're gonna watch some more NG4 footage, but let's watch Iconoclast play some Metal Gear Rising. However, I didn't expect this to be a simulation, which I don't think is what we want. So a stealth kill, sure, like there are stealth kills in NG4. But I want to watch him actually like play the game. This is the slowdown. Like, Platinum is pretty known for like long slowdown mechanics, and in MGR you can literally like stop time and slice things like this. I don't know what he's doing here. He's doing all the VR missions. Probably not what I should have clicked on. Because it doesn't really showplace the actual game. I didn't realize I clicked on VR missions for him, but that's okay. Here. Let's just watch some random script play it. The Rad Brad, I don't know who you are, but alright, let's just watch it. He's calling it a walkthrough. So hopefully, since he's calling it a walkthrough, he actually can play with some decent skill.
Alright, guys.
Let's turn this guy's voice down. Oh, this mission's pretty annoying. This chick's pretty annoying. But okay. So, you know, he's basically... There's, you know, again, I don't see like any similarities here between that and NG4. In MGR, you can basically just constantly spam combos with basically zero worry. As long as you're able to get your directional input correct on when the enemy attacks you, like you're basically just cycling through specific combos, which is what we see him doing here, right? Jumping down, getting shit on a little bit, but there's really no, like in Ninja Gaiden, you have to be a lot more precise. There's a lot more danger on the screen. You have to engage with things like wind paths. You have to cut people's limbs off so you can get OTs. You're jumping around and throwing shurikens, and there's just none of that happens in Metal Gear Rising. You're basically, let's find a different video. That's not a good mission to look at. Jesus Christ. Is this entire mission just a fucking... Okay, here. Other than there being like no enemies to fight. So there are stealth kills, but these slowdowns are massive. The combos just don't stop. There's really no there's no directional inputs to your combos, just to your parries. You're never really in danger. You don't have to suppress the enemies. In Ninja Gaiden 3, you have to slide into the enemies. In every Ninja Gaiden, you have to jump off their heads. You have to throw shurikens at them. You have to do things to interrupt enemies from attacking you. And that is like one of the core parts that sets Ninja Gaiden apart from other action games, is the fact that you can't just like freely just mash combos. You have to be in control of the situation, and you have to control what the enemies are doing. So now if we go back here, oh, that was a nice, so like right there we saw that that clip here, what I was talking about. So he basically parried Yakumo's like in-air juggle, and he had to switch to Blood Raven form, break the juggle, but gravity is still against him here. He wasn't able to just keep staying in the air. And even after that, see how like this is an elite enemy, so it's not like a big crowd, but he still has to be in control of the situation. He can't just like combo on him forever unless you're able to like break their guard. So there are mechanics that you have to deal with before you can combo on an enemy, which is one of the core things in Ninja Gaiden, and why this game looks like Ninja Gaiden and it doesn't look like fucking Metal Gear Rising. Again, like it's different, right? Like it's different than every Ninja Gaiden, but every Ninja Gaiden is different. Ninja Gaiden 1 is different than 2, Ninja Gaiden 2 is different than 3. Let's go here, watch some Ryu gameplay, I guess. And Ryu doesn't look that much different than Yakumo. He really, really doesn't. See, again, he has guns shooting at him. He has to be in control of the situation, right? Jumping off the walls, getting OTs, doing like strings that are going to delimb, throwing shurikens. That is what like makes when you're like, this game doesn't look like Ninja Gaiden. It looks like a good action game, but not Ninja Gaiden. Like, those are the things that set it apart, and we see it with Yakumo and we see it with Ryu. So now, just to like entertain the idea, we'll look at some Bayonetta. And if you try to tell me this game looks like fucking Ninja Gaiden, you're just the dumbest fucking person I've ever talked to. Like, how does this look like NG4? It just doesn't. This bitch is in the air. Here, let me turn it down a little bit. This bitch is in the air literally non-stop. So to try to compare the air juggles in Ninja Gaiden to something like this is just... it's just absurd. Now, granted, that like the point of this little secret mission is to stay in the air forever. But still, it doesn't change the fact. And again, Bayo doesn't have to really worry about controlling the situation. You're so free to be able to just like, you know, like he's using his little bow here, but he's on ultimate climax, but you're so free to just kind of like do what you need to do. And he doesn't get witch time because he's on ultimate climax. But now we'll go back and we'll compare to some more NG4. A boss fight, or an elite enemy. I don't know if this is a... it looks like it has a boss health bar. But again, we saw the deflect there. It was just an actual deflect. It wasn't like any sort of attack that knocked his weapon away from him like you see in Final Fantasy 16 and DMC 5. And that was just an execution. And apparently there's like unique executions for every enemy. Now what we're going to see here are the execution attacks. Now that is one thing that does look like MGR, where you actually get those like kanji after image kills, and you get them on executions, and then you get them with this here. So that little circle he's activating right now is berserk mode, and when you combine berserker mode with one of those blood raven attacks, you can just like one-shot mobs. But we saw how long that lasted. That lasted like 4 seconds. So I bet in Master Ninja it's going to be kind of crucial to be able to control that, to get out of some like really shitty situations. And yeah, it's a lot faster, but the Ninja Gaiden games got faster with every title. Like, that's just something that happens. The games get faster. And again, he fell, right? Like, gravity is still working against you here. And this is the one we already saw. There's not a lot of Yakumo gameplay other than bosses here, which is kind of unfortunate. Here we got some more. So again, looks like you can perfect dodge in air, which is pretty cool. We'll pull up a different gameplay. There's some other footage out there. What is this? I don't think that's real. And we'll go specifically Yakumo. Yakumo Katana gameplay. And yes, we have to... So this is just a developer clip, but again, we see guillotine throws. We see enemies having like armor and defense actually, and I know a lot of like Ninja Gaiden 2 fans don't like that, but that's part of like what makes Ninja Gaiden is having to control the situation and not being able to combo on your enemies freely. And each game did this differently. And we'll take a look here at Ninja Gaiden Black. I just have to find the right chapter, which would be right here. So the these enemies are armored. Jay is just like a god, so it's kind of hard to like let's actually go to the airship. Or not the airship, but the military base. So these enemies are also armored, and you can't just like combo freely on them. So this has been a thing since Ninja Gaiden 1. And Jay's been taking care of them with the bow. But you can't, these enemies here, you can't just like walk up to them and fucking smack them. Jay just, you know, he's not going to make that mistake. But you have to wind path them. You have to shoot explosive arrows work really well. UTs work really well, right? Like these armored enemies, you can't just walk up to and smack in the fucking face. Ninja Gaiden 2 is the only game that really kind of ditched this mindset. But in Ninja Gaiden 2, it has like different ways of preventing you from just like walking up and like comboing and smacking on an enemy. Obviously, like you have depending on the game, in 2 Black, they're super evasive, kind of like Razor's Edge. In Vanilla 2, you have God damn it. In Vanilla 2, you have like shuriken spam, like IS spam and shit like that, but that's not where I wanted to go. We're gonna like watch a fight here. And again, this looks very different from NG1, right? This is not what like it looked like Jay was doing when he was playing NG1. You can't play NG1 the way you can play NG2. You can't play NG2 the way you can play NG3. You can't play NG3 or NG2 the way you're going to be playing NG4. But, you know, similar premise, right? He's throwing shuriken, busting out UTs. When somebody's delim, he's getting an OT on them, he's jumping off their head. You have to control the situation. Guillotine throws, like all of the animations are straight ripped from there. Homie is really good. I want to go to I want to see him do the fight in the little room over here. I wish I could be as good as this guy. Okay, so now... He didn't go in the room. Kind of what I wanted to see. But see, that's what kind of prevents you from being able to just like freely wail on enemies in NG2. You saw he got those shuriken stuck in him, and right now he has shuriken stuck in him. He obviously didn't feel comfortable doing a wind path or a guillotine throw, so he was forced to stand there and block. Getting grabbed on an on landing, classic vanilla NG2. But yeah, and again, so I just don't understand the comparisons, I guess, because it doesn't look anything like it just doesn't look anything like MGR. Like you can see the Ninja Gaiden DNA, and you can see that it has the Ninja Gaiden feel very, very much. And it looks, you know, obviously like the games all have the same base, but they don't have the same play style or feel. And what really like blows my mind about this, so again, right there, that was not a directional attack, that was a perfect block into a counter. That's kind of what the counters have turned into. If you want to do a counter attack, you have to perfect block and then do the counter attack. So it's really no different than a counter attack in the other games. It's just set up in a little bit of a different way instead of waiting for them to attack. In fact, it was more like MGR, you can even argue, in fucking NG1 and 2 because and 3, because you had to wait for them to attack and then basically attack their attack while blocking. Now, if you want to get that counter, you do a perfect block and then do a follow-up. So it's not parry slop. It's really like no different, and it's something you can completely ignore. In fact, the devs have like specifically said this. So like, if you don't want to engage with these mechanics, you can strictly ignore them. We're not trying to turn it into like a parry-focused game. And again, obviously he's going to play different, but like we already established that NG1 and NG2 play very, very differently. But this does not look like anything Platinum has done before. And now let's look at Razor's Edge. And again, this is Iconoclast, who is just a goat. D-Lim, get the OT. He knows what strings to use to get D-Limbs. Obviously, like, enemies are a bit more annoying in NG3, but... And go to the beginning of this chapter. So there, like, he just... I'm pretty sure that was a counter right there, which is really, like, not much different. Yeah, he was trying to get a counter. Yeah. So he waited for the attack and then countered. In NG4, you wait for the attack, you block, and then counter. So it's really, really no fucking different. Like, I don't understand people trying to claim that it's like ruining the game or the franchise. But I get a lot of those people like fucking hate this game too for some reason, even though like the combat is just brutal as shit. And I don't know how you can be a Ninja Gaiden fan and hate on this game. So it's the same base, it's the same DNA, it plays differently. Yakumo's gonna play differently. Ryu's gonna play differently. Like, Ryu looks different in this game than he does in the previous games, but he looks different in every game. When we have NG1, we'll go somewhere else. No, we don't want to watch this, we don't want to watch this. Where's a good... No, I don't want to watch him with the low health you have. Let's watch Jay do chapter 1. He's probably gonna essence chain. Yeah, he is. Let's go a little bit further. Like, the way NGB plays is significantly different. And again, if we go back just a little bit, oh, actually, let's go right here, because we can watch some more, like, kind of like some, God, he goes so fast, dude. So again, there's armored enemies that he has to deal with here. So, how is he going to get past the armored enemies? He's going to use the smoke bomb. It's really, like, no different. It's just NG2 is the only game that didn't have enemies that, like, have legit armor. So he's gonna probably just wind path him, or yeah, that works too. See, that enemy blocked him. Like, it's really no different than what people complain about with like Razor's Edge or like what we're seeing in NG4. Wind path to stun him. And obviously, like, you're able to get more and more airtime as the games go on. So now let's take a look at Ninja Gaiden 2 again. Like, these games look nothing alike. Other than having the same basic base, like, the way you play the games is so fundamentally different. You cannot play NG2 the way you play NG1. So when these people try to say shit like, oh, Well, I want the game to feel like NGB and NG2. It can't. A game cannot feel like NGB and NG2 because NGB and NG2 aren't fucking alike in the slightest. Like, they are not even close to similar in how you have to approach it and play it. They both have that same like Ninja Gaiden feel, but so does Razor's Edge. Like, all these games have the same exact like, I don't know how to describe it. I think the best way to describe it is like having to control your enemies, obviously the difficulty, the like brutality. Like Ninja Gaiden is just the most vicious and brutal action game, right? Like no other game are you doing shit like this. But having to control your enemies, having to control the situation, the brutality, the gore, and I think the enemy control is really the biggest thing. And we see the exact same thing in here. When we look at the other games from Platinum, that doesn't exist. Like you're not really like, look at him, he's just like running around like mindlessly spamming, like not really worrying about it, right? And so like turns time off and just starts slicing people, does a finisher, and we'll see the kanji here. Maybe no kanji, but like look at that. This is nothing. You're not controlling the situation at all. You're not having to like you're not having to deal with enemies that you're not actually like hitting with your weapon. In Ninja Gaiden, you have to still control enemies you're not dealing with, you're not hitting. That's why you win path off one, you throw shurikens at the other, and then you attack the third. That way, the first and second enemies are out of the equation. Then the third enemy gets your focus to kill him. Then you get some essence or like whatever, right? Maybe you delimb one of them, and then you leave him there because he's crawling now. He's slow, he's dangerous, but he's slow. So now you can go deal with another enemy. And oh, you need some iframes. You can hit that OT or like whatever, right? That kind of engagement just doesn't exist in literally any other action game. But we're seeing that same kind of engagement in NG4, which is what sets it apart from being like, that's how we know it's actually like truly Ninja Gaiden. See, look at that there. He delimbs one, exactly what I just said. Delimbs one, goes and takes out the other. Like obviously like the big difference is this isn't, we're not watching Master Ninja gameplay. All of the other ones I showed were like Master Ninja, the hardest difficulty. This is most likely on normal because any B-roll footage is always going to be on normal. They're never going to put B-roll footage out on the highest difficulty. They don't want the public to see the developers dying over and over or like having a hard time controlling the situation. They want the general public to see this type of shit. Like just cutting people in half, looking super vicious, looking cool and flashy. So like it's hard to directly compare, but like okay, the point stands, right? Like the DNA of Ninja Gaiden is in this game. Like it's not playing anything like Metal Gear Rising. So if somebody asks, like, hey, I'm looking to get into NG4, what should I play? Don't fucking tell them Bayonetta and Metal Gear. That's just the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard in my life. This game looks, feels like a Ninja Gaiden. And they've been saying like all the right shit. I can't tell you if what they're saying is true or not, but it looks good so far, right? Like the gameplay looks good. They said Master Ninja, there's changes in enemy placement, changes in mob placement, mob density, enemy aggression, enemy AI, shit like that, which is what, my biggest concern was. And when I first heard Platinum Game was like helping with this game, I was fucking nervous as shit because I don't really like Platinum. I don't like Bayonetta really. I don't really like Metal Gear Rising. They're not really my thing. Like they're cool, they're okay, but they're not something I really like enjoy to the point of spending a lot of time playing. I do love Nier Automata, but like Nier's like, just its own thing, and that's another like point in Platinum's favor. Is when Nier came out, like Platinum wasn't in charge of Nier, and like people don't seem to understand that with Ninja Gaiden. Platinum is not in charge of Ninja Gaiden 4. They are co-developing it. So when Nier came out, Square Enix was like, the production studio. Yoko Taro was the director and producer. And Yoko Taro basically had like final say in everything. And they used Platinum because they wanted the gameplay to feel better, right? Because when you look at like the Drakengard series and near Gestalt that came out before it, the gameplay was like bad, but the games were good, right? They had great stories, lore, world, characters, all that shit. But the gameplay sucked. So, you team up with Platinum and they help with the gameplay. But Yoko Taro still had the direction. He was the one calling the shots. And Nier Automata is still a Nier game. Like, you cannot say that that's like Bayonetta 2.0. Like, that's just the dumbest shit. Like, yeah, they took a lot of like Bayo influence into the combat, but that's where Platinum had all of their creative liberties, was strictly in the combat, and everything else was Nier. This is different. Yasuda, and I can't think of the other fucking dude's name, but one of the other directors at Team Ninja. Yasuda's the producer. He's like in charge of the whole product. And then the two directors are the one dude who's like, been in all the interviews saying how big of a Ninja Gaiden fan he was, and how Ninja Gaiden 2 was his favorite, and like saying shit like, yeah, we wanted to incorporate features for newer players, but as a veteran, I wouldn't like some of those things, so that's why we did things to make them optional, like the target like indicator, the soft lock indicator. So there's no hard targeting system, but there's like a soft lock indicator so you can see who you're targeting, and the off-screen enemy indicator. And he's like, yeah, I understand a lot of fans aren't going to like it because I wouldn't like it, so we added it, but you can turn it off if you want, and blah 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 blah. But Yasuda is still like getting final say. Team Ninja still gets final say in like the entire way this game feels, plays, and runs. It's not um like Platinum is just straight up in charge of it. They are like helping with certain aspects that Yasuda didn't feel Team Ninja was able to do properly because of how like shitty he feels about what happened with Vanilla NG3. So in terms of keeping it fast paced and snappy and straight to the point and smooth, that's the shit where like Platinum really comes in. Plus in developing a new character. And my like theory headcanon is like the dude at, I don't think it was Yasuda, I think it's like the president at Platinum is really good friends with the president at Team Ninja. And I really think, Platinum was like about to go under, and I really think this was like a help each other out situation, which I think Team Ninja, my other headcanon is Team Ninja did this with Strangers of Paradise. They partnered with Square to deliver SOP right before Final Fantasy started making actual action combat. And there's a lot of similarities with like Strangers of Paradise and Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. Like the whole, I don't remember what they call it in SOP. It's not, it's like my least favorite Team Ninja game in general, but you get like the basically ATB bars and like all that shit, right? So I really think that they basically teamed up with Square to kind of help teach the developers at Square how to make an action combat system. And I think this team up was two ways, right? It helps um, Team Ninja in places they felt they weren't strong enough with, and at the same time, it helped Platinum not fucking fall under, right? And I've seen people also post a thing where the one dude left where he's like, yeah, I just don't feel like I have the creative liberties anymore, and they like use that as a point to why NG4 is like gonna be bad for some fucking reason. But look at the last two games Platinum has made that have any sort of relevance. Ninja Gaiden 4 and Nier, and the people at Platinum have basically zero creative liberties with these two games. They are not the ones designing the direction of Ninja Gaiden 4. They are not the ones designing the direction of Nier. So they've obviously not been able to get any funding for one of their own like passion projects. They basically had to do these collaborations to keep the studio alive. So, like that's my headcanon. That basically it's like uh not a quid pro quo, but like I'll help you, you help me, right? So this gets money to Platinum because Team Ninja is, obviously doing well financially compared to them, and they get a big game that they can sell, and maybe it gives Platinum the ability to actually like make one of their own games again, or maybe Platinum will keep doing these sort of collaboration projects, whatever, doesn't matter. But the point is Platinum's collaboration projects, in my opinion, are best projects. I don't think Bayonetta is great. I don't think MGR is great. I do think Nier is great, and MG4, I'm assuming, is going to be great. You know, obviously I haven't played it, then I won't know until I really like dive into it and do a couple runs on Master Ninja probably. I know a lot of the vets are going to complain about the game when they play their first run. They're going to say it's too easy because they've been playing Master Ninja for fucking years. And then when they get the Master Ninja, they're going to say it's cheap, unfair bullshit, just like they do with Razor's Edge, which is just funny. How you can say like NG2 has fair Master Ninja, but Razor's Edge doesn't. It's just fucking stupid. But yeah, so, you know, I don't know how you can say that the game looks like this. Like, I just really don't. Like, all these QTEs and shit, and just basically, like, running around, spamming attacks, like, you have no worries. You're not really, you can just, like, run away from enemies. You don't have to, like, control the situation at all. Like, just spam your attacks and hit the right directional input when you need to. You can literally stop time. You can, like he's doing here. Like, it's not, this doesn't look like NG4 at all. Like, literally at all. If it looks like anything, it looks more like a combination of Razor's Edge and NG2. Like, the way the DLIM and OT system works seems to be a lot more like NG2, but it also seems to, like, the way the combat flows seems to be a lot more like Razor's Edge, where it's a little more like combo heavy and shit like that. So I think it kind of takes, like, the best of both of these two games. One of the complaints a lot of people have about Razor's Edge, or I shouldn't say a lot of people, I should say the NG2 crowd has about Razor's Edge, is that it doesn't, like, the D-limbs aren't consistent, which isn't really true. You just, like, really have to, like, know how to D-limb each enemy. You can D-limb every enemy fairly consistently in Razor's Edge, but it's not as easy as, like, press forward Y or, you know, press, you know, running Y or something like that. Each enemy requires like different combo strings with different weapons, and it's some of them can like slip out of it and shit like that, so it's just a little bit different. But yeah, so no, I don't think it's fucking Ninja Gear Gaiden for Revengence, like, at all. So yeah, that's my rant. So be optimistic. Let's see what happens. It looks good. I don't know why it's like so controversial in this community that Ninja Gaiden 4 exists. I even have heard one person say it's it's platinum games, it's this, it's that, and I was like, dude, no, it's not. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, it's not Ninja Gaiden. I'm like, what does that even mean? He's like, Itagaki doesn't direct it. I was like, what? He's like, it can't be Ninja Gaiden if Itagaki isn't directing it, which just shows these people don't even fucking like know what Ninja Gaiden is. They just like have a boner for fucking some old Japanese dude for some reason. Like, who gives a fuck about Itagaki, dude? Like, I don't, like, who gives a fuck about some dude? Like, yeah, he helped like make NGB what it is, which is fucking awesome, right? But he didn't make the game. He didn't make it. He didn't do it. He directed it, right? He didn't like create it out of thin air and develop the combat system and everything. He directed it, right? And Team Ninja clearly has talented developers that have been doing shit for fucking 20 years with and without him. So to say like it's not a Ninja Gaiden game if Itagaki doesn't have it doesn't make sense. To say it needs to play like NGB and NG2 doesn't make sense, because NGB and NG2 played nothing alike, like literally nothing alike. They're the entire, you have the same concept, just like NG4 and NG3. You have the same concept in like how you have to approach things in a way, and the same base, but they don't play alike. So you can't say that it's only Ninja Gaiden if it plays like NG2. It's only Ninja Gaiden if it plays like NGB. It's only Ninja Gaiden if it plays like NG3, because none of them play the fucking same at all. They're also disparate. It's not even fucking funny. And we're seeing the exact same goddamn thing here. A similar base with elements taken from the older games, but probably a different way to approach it. But it looks to me like a combination of Razor's Edge and NG2. And what I mean by that, like I said, the combat flow looks like Razor's Edge, but you don't have like such defensive enemies as Razor's Edge. The enemies seem to behave a little more like they do in NG2, but obviously like probably more like 2 Black, I would say, because I doubt we're gonna have like, I haven't seen any IS Ninja that are just pelting you, so you know, but but your D-limbs are a lot quicker and consistent in enemies. Enemies seem more like NG2 other than the IS spam, and the player seems more like NG3 in my opinion. But neither of them look like fucking Bayonetta or Metal Gear. So yeah, that's it. Peace.